What's up, guys? Welcome. Excited to have you back. We're coming back from LA and San Jose, which we had a great turnout. So thank you for everyone that showed up and participated. Man, we had a blast. In fact, we'll have quite a few people join our coaching program from being in those trainings, and I think we're signing 4 or 5 people to our team. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you for coming and participating. Jeremy, what was better than the weather? The weather was fabulous. The traffic sucked. But what were some of your takeaways from that event?
Yeah, super cool, guys. We're excited for those that came. Thanks for coming. And there were a lot of people that we saw again. It came the second time. Biggest takeaway is go learn, go to events, go to seminars, read the books. You can always learn from somebody. And if there's something missing in your business, you're not closing enough, you don't have enough buyers, you're not getting enough listings, something's off, maybe your drive is off, you don't have enough passion, then go learn, go invest in yourself. That's probably my biggest takeaway. Mitch is on here. What's up, Mitch? He was in Rancho Cucamonga. And the biggest thing I've seen with those that end up figuring this industry out are the ones that are constantly learning, that are hungry. Even some people came and they weren't taking notes and they were distracted just on their phone doing whatever. And so you have to go and you also have to pay attention because somebody could say something that could make a lot of money for you and you just got to pay attention, but you got to be present first. That's my biggest takeaway.
I love it. A lot of people don't leverage. I think that's one of the biggest things I'm seeing in real estate right now is they're not leveraging their time and they're trying to hold all the hats. I talked to a guy from Canada yesterday who's going to be joining one of our programs. And his biggest thing was, hey, I'm selling, about 15 to $18 million in real estate. I'm worried about signing up for coaching because I don't think I'll have time with my business. And I kind of laughed a little bit as I said, no, you should be building systems around so it allows you to get more business and be able to find ways. I was like, that's some of the things we coach you on and train you on and teach you on is how to leverage yourself. I've had over 40 people under contract and it didn't change the amount of time I spent in a day. I'm still about an hour and a half a day on my personal business. Why? Because of systems in place. So today we're going to dive in and we're going to talk about how you plan your week because it all starts with planning. You have got to plan if you're going to be successful. If you don't have a plan, you're going to fail. A confused mind, as Jeremy always says no. You're going to stop. You're not going to progress. You're not going to grow the minute you have confusion. And most agents get very confused very quick the minute they have even one client to work with. So as we dive in here, Jeremy, have you take it away, but I'm going to pull up our weekly planning slides. And I want to go through and help you agents to understand how you have to plan and how to make it successful.
Yeah, I just want to comment real quick as we go through this. There's been a lot of people recently in the real estate industry that are coaches and have been doing it for a long time that say that we always talk about stuff just so you can join one of our programs. Well, this is for free. If you guys want this, no strings attached. DM us or comment weekly planning template. This is for free. We will give this to you because a lot of people in sales don't have a sales problem. They have a personal development problem that's affecting their sales ability. And so if you're not selling a lot of real estate, it's not your skill set. It is. We need to fix that. But it's also there's something off inside of you. You don't have the right energy. You don't have the focus, the drive, and you might just be off course just a little bit. That's why this weekly planning template has been so popular in our program and those that have followed us. And we've probably sent this out to thousands of people because there's a great example of a plane that leaves Salt Lake that goes to New York. And if that plane is off by 6 inches, it'll determine whether or not you're all the way up north or all the way south in the United States. So sometimes it's just these little tiny corrections that we have to make. And if you're not doing them frequently enough, then you'll be all the way out here, maybe been in the real estate industry for 8-9 years, and you're not fixing the problem. You're still doing 8 deals every year. Let's fix that. And that's why you have to do it on a weekly basis.
Guys, listen to what he's saying. So important. I'm coming back to JB. JB's like, Jeremy the Beast. And I was like, he is a monster in the business. And so, guys, really, you have to listen to people that have done it. If you're not listening to people that have done it, why are you listening at all? So we're going to dive in here. Let's walk through this. Once again, the reason we're here is to help you guys. So if you're not commenting, if you're not, sharing your questions, we're struggling with something here. You've got to come ready to learn. So ask your questions. Jump on here live with us. I'll bring you on the show, right? Anytime. Just shoot me a text on Instagram or online, and let's bring you on the show, and you can answer your questions from wherever you're at. So, Jeremy, walk us through a little bit about planning and how to plan to be successful.
Yeah, so I would say a couple things. If you go to the next slide or the next page, it talks about right here. This is the whole core of why more realtors need to plan on a weekly basis. And it comes back to a mentor of mine, a good friend of Dwayne and I's, Casey Baugh, talks about how the biggest driver to performance and behavior is our personal view of our identity, who we think we are. And everything is created twice. You have spiritually created. The world was created spiritually and thought first, and then it was created physically. So you can't say, I want to go sell a lot of real estate, or I want to sell 4 homes, or I want to sell or put 2 people under contract this week. That's great. That's half of the puzzle. But then you have to physically go create it on paper, and then it becomes a reality. And if you're not doing that, if you're not creating things spiritually on paper first of how I'm going to do that, then it's hard for the universe to come and help you. It's hard for things to come in place because you're not doing that first. And so again, like, name me a captain of a ship or a pilot of an airplane, or really anybody, an architect that would go and build, drive, or navigate without a plan, without a map, without something already in front of them. And realtors got to do the same thing. And you do this on a weekly basis. Audit the previous week and then go forward and plan the next week. And then you just got to show up. But you got to have that plan first.
Well, if you don't plan, you plan to fail. Everybody's heard that 1,000 times. How many of you guys have a plan right now that you're consistently executing from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed? How systematic is your plan? And how often are you staying consistent? We've got a question coming in from Asia. Let's pull this up on the screen. It says, I have realized that I have a limiting belief that I couldn't be a good mother, a successful real estate agent. And the last year was my lowest year ever. I can do this. Now, Asia, I love that you're being a mother first. That's awesome. Jeremy and I are God and family first, always. But I'm going to tell you right now, we've got Rachel out in California that's on pace to do 20 million. And she's already putting God and family first. So if you need help doing that, we have multiple women in our program that are following the steps to do this and are winning big like crazy. So make sure that when you do this, the biggest thing you need to do, Asia, is you've got to have a plan. Because guess what? Part of that plan is going to have you taking care of kids in it. And that way your focus is dialed in on each time block that you have so that you can be a successful mom and a successful real estate agent. But there's no reason in heck that you're not able to do both and do it at a high enough level that you're making a massive amount of money. So if you're not already doing that, we need to help you. We need to help you dive in and help you crush this.
And I would say to Asia, your point, and also we've got Jeff, the legend, over on Instagram. I'm chatting with him right now. Is if you see that you have a how problem, if you're not selling the real estate, if you know what you're supposed to do, but you're not doing it, you have a consistency issue, whatever the problem is, that's manifested on your daily schedule. It comes back to a why problem and a confusion problem. So your business plan isn't detailed enough. So like Dwayne said, a confused mind will always say no. Your subconscious is finding ways to avoid doing the thing because you're going to get hurt. So it kicks into fight or flight and it tries to protect you. So if you're struggling with consistency, you're not doing what you should do, that's a signal. That's like a red flag. Hey, your plan is too confusing. And then your why isn't driving you enough. because anyone that has a big why, a big passionate why, they will run through a wall to figure it out. So if you're not doing that, if it's manifested in your schedule, then you're missing these two things. You need a bigger reason for why you're doing real estate, and you need a clearer plan to get there. And that's why weekly planning is so important, because it gives you the opportunity to visualize and connect to that why, detail out your week, the plan, and then execute. If these two things are well done, then you'll execute every time. If you're not executing, it's one of these two issues.
So what are you going to do different? I think that's the big steps. What are you going to do different? And what are you breaking down in your process? Because it all boils down to processes. What are you breaking down? I think as we dive into this next step where it's talking about sharpening the saw, you can see that here. And there's a whole analogy about the saw. So many times people get out and they start chopping that tree, and they don't have the knowledge behind the way the tree should be chopped to get it down the quickest, or they have a very dull blade. We don't know what to say in our process. We're not very effective in our time on doors because we're doing other things. We're not really selling the way we should when we should be selling, because we're dealing with paperwork, or we're on the phone, or we're handling all of these different things. And in reality, it doesn't work. So you have to figure out a way, number one, to effectively chop the tree. I need to do what? What angles do I need to go in at? What is the most effective way to get that tree down? And how fast can I do it? And how can I improve each day with each tree I chop? How can I get better and quicker and more efficient? Second, what tools do I need to make myself sharper so that I can look at that tree and go, oh my gosh, this one's got knots here, and I can get this tree down by going here and here. That's the same way in your personal business. You should be looking at this going, sweet, I am so good at this because I've chopped so many trees, and I've learned from each one of them. And I've learned from people prior to that were really good at chopping trees, and they've taught me the most effective ways. And I'm going to duplicate and rip off exactly what they do so that it doesn't take me so long to learn this. I'm going to make sure I have a sharp saw. I'm going to make sure I'm doing the right angles. I'm going to make sure I'm cutting the right kind of tree. I'm going to make sure that I'm doing all of the right things so that I can be successful. And guys, it's a proven science. That's what's so awesome about our programs, is I know without a doubt, if you will come into our program and you will work hard, there is nothing that will stop you. Nothing. And so you've got to come in and you've got to push hard enough that you know that you will be successful just by following the steps of those who have succeeded before you.
Well, if you go back 2 or 3 pages, Dwayne, the reason for those that are watching that this is so important is if you go back to one more, that page, this concept is so important to get behind. Success in the real estate industry doesn't just happen. You don't get your license and 50 people every year call you and you have to do no work. And then all of a sudden you sell a lot of real estate. And it's not an accident that just falls on your lap. Those that do really, really well, they create it. They go and into the marketplace and they actively prospect and figure out who's ready to buy, sell, or invest right now. They've got great systems in place to follow up with everybody else, but it's a very action-based industry. And I love that quote that's in the booklet. And it talks about how sometimes when I consider what tremendous consequences come from little things, I'm tempted to think there are no little things. And I love that. My mission president, when I was a missionary for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints down in Argentina, he used to quote this all the time. And he would talk about daily habits, daily routines, and prospecting methods that we needed to follow. And he would always bring this up. And so the littlest tiny thing, like a weekly planning, you would think is dumb. I don't need to sit for 2 hours and do a weekly planning and audit my previous week and plan for the next week. Okay, well, show me someone that does do this, and I'll show you someone that's more focused, intentional, and driven. And they can accomplish more in 7 days that it might take you 6 months to figure out. And so it's speed. It's speed. You need to have a time in the week where you do that audit. Most Fortune 500 companies, they've got people coming in and they'll give that company an audit feedback. fix this, don't do this. You don't have a return here, drop that, add this. But as independent contractors, as realtors, no one's doing that for you. You have to do that. You have to have a time set aside where you're fixing this. Because like it says in the packet, you're the core of the functioning business in real estate. No one else is coming to save you. You've got to fix this, and only you.
So how does it boil down? I love that. Simple things. A lot of people think that the little things don't matter, but they do. And as we dive into planning, that's one of the biggest things that matter is planning out your day and then fine tuning. So I was at my son's basketball game, and as you guys know, I learn a lot just by being a dad. And so it's really cool what I can learn from even my 12-year-old at his basketball game. We left this last Saturday, and I said to him, I was like, son, so how was it? He's like, oh, it was great, Dad. And I was like, great. So what did you learn? And he's like, well, I had a lot of fun. And you know, I learned that team was number 3 and we beat them and we were worse than them. So that was good. I'm like, yes, but what did you learn about your game? And he stopped and he's like, well, I didn't really think about it. I was like, I'm sure I get it. And we want you to have fun. That's the most important thing for you is to have fun. But is it so much funner to play at the top level? And what 2 things did you realize you could execute and do a little bit better? Is it your drive? Is it your shot? Is it your decisions, your passes? What things, as you look back at the game, rather than just go, oh, that was fun. Man, we beat those guys. We were on fire. What things can you improve? And he's like, well, I've never really thought of that. But I should be, Dad. I should be thinking about those things because if I can get back and do a little bit better each time, I'm going to be good. I'm like, absolutely. And I bring that back in because it relates to all of us. Me as a dad, even. What things could I do better to help him prepare? What things can I do better personally that I'm able to make myself in a better spot to be a better leader, better example? And I think if every one of us think that way, the world will be a much better place. So you cannot get to the point where you're saying, oh, I made it. We haven't. We haven't. In fact, my wife just took off to go to Hawaii with her sisters for a sister's trip. And she kept reminding me, he's like, be patient with the kids. Be patient with the kids. She's like, they're little and they make lots of mistakes. Be patient with the kids. I'm like, honey, I will. But she reminded me like 3 or 4 times. And I think this all boils down to the little things. Don't expect perfection, but expect to get better each and every time. And that's huge. And I'm going to bring it right to your business today. If you're not changing your plan, if you're not going back and reflecting on the day and making changes from the day to be better, if you're not selling as much real estate as you should be, what are you going to change? What planning steps are you going to effectively change in order for you to get to that next level and be able to crush it in your real estate business? So I love this, Jeremy. That quote's awesome.
Okay, so let's go to the nitty gritty stuff. So if we go all the way a couple pages on, how do you do this, right? Those that are listening, this is important. You understand it. Yep. There's 2 parts. There's 2 parts to weekly planning. You've got to do an audit. That's the first thing. And Dwayne's talking about this. You got to go back and look at what went well, what didn't go well that week. And in order to do that, this is something that I've learned from, again, Casey Baugh over the last 10 plus years, is in order to do that, you have to be in a state of gratitude. You have to be calm. You can't be distracted. You have to relax. That's why when I do this every Sunday, I do it in the morning before church, before my kids get up. I'm going to go back and just list my blessings that I have. I'm going to meditate. I'm going to be prayerful. I'm going to set the environment so that I can then go back and do a clear audit. Sometimes the ideas, the thoughts are there. As realtors, we have them. We know what we need to fix, but we're so distracted. We've got all these notifications coming. We don't sit down in silence. We do it during the day, so everybody wants our attention. Do it in the morning. Go back and do this activity and ask yourself, who am I? Because again, you can't perform higher than the identity you give yourself. So go back and identify, who am I? What gets me excited? What are my opportunities in front of them? And Jeff says this on Instagram, but practice makes progress 100%. You've got to practice this. This is something that becomes a habit. And so you got to ask yourself, what are my biggest opportunities? There's a great book. I brought it to the seminar last week. It's Peter Drucker's book, The Effective Executive. He talks about how most people, you have opportunities and you have problems. As mankind, as people, as realtors, we will always like grow and focus the issue and the problem. And we're drama oriented, and so many realtors are a bunch of babies. But then we drain and we kill the opportunities that are in front of us. So you have to feed the opportunity and you have to kill the problem. And so identify those. What are the biggest opportunities that you have in front of you? And don't focus on the problems, because whatever you focus on will grow. Whatever you don't focus on will die. You can kill those by simply not giving them attention. Then once you're done, do an audit. Do a page report. What went well? What didn't go well? What did I move the needle on my business plan? Did I not? And where do I need to get better? Simply doing this on a weekly basis, it'll give you so much clarity that I bet a lot of you that are watching will catch your problems quicker. And if you can catch it quicker, like Dwayne was mentioning with this kid, then you can adjust quicker. Sometimes we don't identify the problem, so we have the same problem for 5 years in the real estate industry. We'll shorten that to 1 week, and then you can move faster. So this part right here is so important.
Jeremy, I think, and I've got one of our guys online right now. It's getting ready to jump into the role play, but it's so crazy to see this every week. I've got Steven, shout out to you up in Washington, but he finally said, I'm burning the boat and I'm going to dive in full fledged, and I have to. But too often people make a plan, but it's a plan not to really take action. They get so involved in the plan that they don't really get past part one, part two, and take the action. So I'm going to call out my New Jersey guy right now. He's like, I need now business. And I said, so what are you going to do to get it? And he goes, well, I'm about to jump in the role play. And that's a start, but what is that going to do? That's going to hand you a saw, right? It's going to tell you how to cut, but you're not going to sell a house. You're not going to get now business by learning something you should have learned months ago, yep. Right? Years ago. So you're behind the 8 ball. So what really needs to happen when you say, I need now business, your plan should entail, I'm going to hurry and study. I'm going to get a bunch of knowledge, but then I plan on going out and cutting trees. Even if my saw isn't very sharp, I'm going to go cut trees, and I'm going to learn that, holy crap, I need to sharpen this sucker better. But I'm going to go out and work really, really hard. And I'm going to talk to 400 people in this next week so that I can see if I can get a tree to fall, because I need now business. Steven, this goes to you too. Anybody that's in our program, we're going to push you. We're going to help you get to those levels where you're saying, yeah, I need now business. I'm going to go create it. So, John, if you'll shoot me a text, 801-243-4544, I'll send you this planning template right now. I've got people asking for the planning template. So if you want that, shoot me that text, 801-243-4544. We'll send it out to you for free. But yeah, you've got to have a crystal clear. Number 3 is so important. And so is number 1 and number 2. Man, all of it's so important, guys. It's all the little things, right? So you got to have the gratitude to put yourself in the right mindset. You got to pray about it so you get that help from above that we couldn't get from anywhere else. And then you've got to be clear on what your outcome needs to be. So your outcome needs to be, I need to find a deal and put it under contract. And then go out and take over and do it. Jeremy, next page.
Yeah, well, and I think one example of that is Tom Brady. One of the last Super Bowls, the second to last Super Bowls, was when they were playing the Atlanta Falcons in Atlanta, and they were down 28-3 at the half, and so they went back to the locker room, and just imagine what they went over and what they reviewed, and they must have had an incredible bang for their buck audit, and then come out and win in the second half. And so, as realtors, you got to do the same thing. You got to do this frequently on a weekly basis. Audit, audit, audit. You need the feedback on what's going well and what's not going well. So that's part 1. Part 2 is now you got to look forward. You got to forecast. One of the greatest books on this is by Shane Snow. It's called Smart Cuts. It's a business strategy book, and it talks about how surfers are really good at predicting if a wave is good or not when they're in the ocean. And as realtors, you got to do the same thing. You have to be able to forecast. These are the deals I'm trying to close. These are the listing appointments I have this week. These are the follow-ups. This is where I'm going to prospect. These are the appointments I have. Be able to predict your entire schedule. Most of it never changes. Your Monday through Friday should be almost identical every day until you have, like Dwayne says, 10 under contract. There's not much that fluctuates, but you have to catch the things that do. And so this is part 2. This is where you focus on your systems. Let me look at the coming week. Am I going to role play? Well, when am I going to role play? Am I going to do my nightly routine? When am I going to do that? What do I have this week? If you're married, ask your wife, what do you have that week? I got to put that on my schedule. And you organize this, right? Everything is created spiritually. You organize this entire thing. And it comes back to the Pareto principle. You have to focus on the 80-20 rule. What are the 20% that's going to get me the 80%? You don't need to do a million things every week. You need to do 4 things really well that will go put more deals under contract. Then for me, I'm going to list out the roles I have, all the different responsibilities I have. I'm a son of God. I'm a disciple of Christ. I'm a father. I'm a spouse. I'm a friend. I'm a neighbor. I'm a real estate coach. I'm a realtor. And I'm just going to list off all my hats. And I'm going to ask myself, where can I get better this week in all of those hats? How can I be a better husband? How can I be a better father? How can I be a better disciple of Christ? How can I be a better coach? And I'm going to put that in my schedule so that I evolve and get better. And then I'm going to go to my vision board. I'm going to review the vision board. What's my next 1 or 2 that I need to go check off? And how can I do that this week? Dwayne, you talk about this all the time. A lot of times we see realtors that have a vision board, but they're just not approaching it properly. Talk to us about that.
Guys, it's so crazy. People go build their vision boards and they build it. And there's many of you that are on this call today that don't have one. You're like, what is a vision board? A vision board, I'm going to pull mine, is exactly what you're going to do this year. Check this out, guys. This should be something you see in your all the time. I mean, it should be on your screen. It should be something you look at nonstop. It's a picture collage that's going to tell you what you're going to accomplish this year, not what you want to accomplish. That's a huge mistake people make. It's like, oh yeah, I'm going to put this on there because that would be something good to work towards. BS, man. If you're going to put it on there, you're going to go accomplish it. You're going to beat it and you're going to win. And that is exactly why it needs to be in your face all the time. But people put this out there and they literally throw it out there and they're just like, well, you know, this is a good thing to have, but after 6 weeks, and that's being me generous, after 3 weeks, most people have forgotten about the vision. And we tell people the first thing you should do is find 2 items, get those checked off, get them done right now. Then find 2 more, get after them, get them checked off. And so in our coaching program, that's one of the things I'm doing nonstop. It's like, hey, do you have your 2 items checked off? What were they? What's the next 2 you've identified? Are you on task? If you haven't checked those 2 off already, you're behind. So what steps do we need to take now? If you don't have someone holding you accountable, get it. Because everybody needs someone to hold them accountable unless you're performing at very, very peak levels. It's worth every penny to have someone hold you accountable. I have a coach. I'm being coached. And it's because I need someone to push me to do more than I could let myself off. So many times, you guys, once we get doing well in life, it's very easy to go, well, I'm doing better than the top 0.1% of Americans. But is that what I'm capable of doing? Could I do more? And the answer is always yes. So I don't care if you're in the top 0.1% of real estate agents. What can you be doing better? And are you pushing yourself to be your best you? If you're not, it's time to review that business plan. It's time to review different things you're doing in your life. It's time to go read 140 books like Jeremy. It's time to look at what you can tweak and how you can become your best self. That's what this life's all about.
100%. And if you just scroll down, I think it's like 2 or 3 pages real quick, and then we'll come back to this and finish it. Yeah, right there. So the last thing is so important when you're forecasting your week. Right there at the bottom, you have to put you in your schedule. You have to be evolving And this comes from Stephen Covey's book that we read last month, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He talks about evolving and sharpening that saw and growing. So in your schedule, put your stress management plan, put your nutrition plan, your exercise plan. Make sure that you're serving the community, that you're connecting with others, that you're connecting with God, that you are following your values throughout your week. And then the last one is read, like Dwayne mentioned. What books are you reading this week? What skills are you pushing forward? How do you grow? How do you move that needle? You've got to grow. You are the biggest asset in your business. No one else comes to help you as a realtor. And a lot of people that think that people are going to help or come and help them, those are the ones that are struggling. You've got to take that extreme ownership and make sure you're growing. All right, let's go back to the last part of the other page. So the last thing right here that's so important is number 6. You've got to stop negotiating with yourself every day. Stop trying to tell yourself or negotiate with yourself that you're going to prospect today. Make the decision one time and then learn to honor your word. Period. That's it. Last week, I told myself I'm going to make 3 pieces of content every day, 3 reels for 7 days in a row. And I'm going to go 5 stories a day. And holy crap, yesterday, I did not want to make those. I did not want to post them. I was like, well, I made 6. That's more than anybody. But then the thought came to mind, no, I honor my commitments. And I'm the type of person, if I said I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. And so I did it. And so you've got to learn to do that. So stop negotiating with yourself every day. Stop trying to convince yourself to prospect every day. Make it on Sunday and then do it, period. And learn to become that type of person that does it. And that's that last part of the weekly planning. It's the Kobe Bryant principle, where every preseason he would go and he would write a letter to himself and he would commit to himself. What's he going to get rid of? What's he going to do? And he would sign it. And I feel like if realtors were to take every week like that, then they would go on and crush it in real estate, period.
Guys, I'm going to touch on that just a little bit. When you write a letter to yourself or when you burn that boat, I'm going to give you a personal example. So I did something stupid, but great at the same time. I signed up for a master's program just recently. Well, I'm 2 semesters in. And not only is it a master's program, but it's an accelerated master's program, right? At the University of Utah, a hard school to get into. There's only 2 schools that teach this course, and it's on business. I built 5 businesses. And here I am growing and building 2 other businesses right now and coaching and doing my own real estate business. And I'm like, you know what? I'd love to learn. I want to get better. I want to be able to teach this to my people in my coaching program, how to build a successful business. So why not sign up for a master's program? And here's the stupid thing about me. I know that if I start something, I'm not just going to do it, but I'm going to do it well.
Yep.
And I want straight A's. And I didn't realize the amount of work that it was going to take to do this. And had I not just immediately bit the boat and jumped in and did it, I guarantee you there are nights where I'm at 11 o'clock at night or 4:30 in the morning where I'm going, oh my gosh, this is the stupidest thing I ever did because I don't have time. I'm exhausted. I don't want to push through this anymore. And I make plenty of money and I'm okay in my situation where I'm at. Why did I do this? I'm going to tell you guys, invest in yourselves. I am learning so much cool stuff. And I'm able to pass that on to Jeremy. I'm passing it on to a bunch of the other people around us on how to build successful things. If you're not stretching yourself, do it. Sign up for a coaching program that's going to push you. Sign up to be on a team that's going to push you, where you're around agents that are crazy successful. In order to even get into this business, into this program that I did, you have to have a business, and they tear your business apart. And I've got 8 assignments due by Saturday, and it's going to take me probably 40 or 50 hours to get these assignments done. When in the crap am I going to have time to do that? Well, I'm going to make time. That's what you've got to do, is you've got to make time for yourself to get you to peak levels. And sometimes that takes signing up, making a commitment, engaging with people that are bigger than you, stronger than you, faster than you. I'd love for anybody to go lift with Jeremy Davis. The guy's benching like 480 pounds. And when, you get with him and here's me benching like 250 and he looks at me and goes, dude, you're a pansy, right? It makes me feel like a pansy and I want to be better. Get around people that are going to push you to be way better than where you're currently at, and then commit and then go push hard to be successful. If you do that, it's game over, guys. It is game over. You will find that success.
For the record, I never said that to Dwayne, but if we ever did lift together, I would probably have that thought.
See, that's why I won't lift with him. I'm not having him thinking I'm sissy sauce.
Yep. All right, we got people on Instagram. Yes, so this is live on YouTube, guys, and on Instagram. So we're going through our weekly planning template. You just joined. We got a ton of people that just joined. We're going through our weekly planning template. It's free. If you don't have this, if you're not planning on a weekly basis and you need a template, DM us here in the comments, shoot either of us a text, and we'll get this to you. So Jeff, over on Instagram, something that has been super helpful for me in my business and staying on track. I'm not an anytime agent, and B, it helps me to keep in control of schedule and giving them options. This is great, right? Well, one of the greatest things that a weekly planning schedule will do is it allows you to control your schedule. You're the one that's in control because you're chasing your dreams, you're chasing your business plan, and you're moving those things forward. The things that matter most to you, you're not fulfilling anybody else's dreams. They're coming into your life, helping you fulfill yours. And so by having a weekly planning, by planning out your days and getting your week on paper, it allows you to do that 100%. So Jeff, I completely agree with you. If anyone wants this template, just reach out to us. Jeff, it's all good. Okay, let's go to the last page.
No, wait, I got something good. I got the Breakfast King. Now that's a big name right there. The Breakfast King said 250 pounds is a good bench, Jeremy Davis. So I'm just saying, I got a fan on my side saying it's okay for me to be sissy la la.
That's right.
But also,
is pretty good.
You look at Israel, and Israel says, stop negotiating with myself is one of the biggest problems I have. Guys, negotiating with yourself is what everybody does. And the only way you're going to get out of that is to have somebody call you out. So What are you doing to fix that?
Yep.
Call Jeremy Davis. Dude, I watch him call people out and bust them on some of their things. In fact, it happened this last weekend. We're like, hey, I'm struggling in my business because of this. And he's like, well, whose fault is that? I don't care about the excuses you've made prior to this of why it's okay for you to struggle. It's change it right now, and then fix it. And here's the steps to fix it. Are you going to do that? Well, then you're going to continue to struggle. And sometimes that cold, hard truth is so needed for you to be successful. And I'm telling you right now, Israel, it's worth every penny. Because once you master that part of it, that is when you're going to get to where you're making way bigger money, way bigger 100%. Money. Our coaching program is $1,250 a month. And a lot of people look at that and go, oh my gosh, that's so much money. Do it over a year. That's $15,000 to be in coaching. How many homes do you need to sell? And if you had someone holding you accountable, how many would you sell? If you're not selling 40 homes in our program, I'm going to call you out myself and tell you you're not working. That's the expectation that we will set, and we will help you hit that and above. So massive opportunities. Jeremy, what page do you want me to go to, brother?
Yeah, let's go to the end. So we'll kind of, one back. So we'll kind of wrap up on this. One thing that you'll learn from Dwayne and I, if you've been following us for a long time, or if you're brand new here, is we can't give you everything on every topic. We're humble enough to realize that a lot of these principles are copy and pasted from the greats, right? These are the people that became world-class at these principles. So if we can guide you and put you in the right direction to go master this quality, then I feel like we've done you a great service. When I first got into sales, there was someone that came to our office and it was amazing. It was book this, book that, quote this, all like it was incredible. And I was like, wow, I am not reading enough. And I remember he explained that in one book, someone took 50 years to compile this. I can go read this tiny of a book in about an hour. So think about the speed of learning and access to information that took other people 50 plus years. And I can go learn that in this and then implement it. That's why we put the packet right here. Your greatest competitive advantage in real estate is acquiring knowledge and then applying it. And so with the digital age and the world we live in right now, there's so much access to information. Just people are lazy. So one thing that I've done over my sales career that's helped me so much is I've scheduled 45 minutes to an hour to just skill development on certain skills that I need to acquire. Now, obviously, if you know me and Dwayne, like we spend a lot of time outside that hour to go study different skills. Sometimes we'll pull all-nighters and fall asleep in our office trying to figure out that skill. But there's an hour dedicated to go acquire one skill every day and compound that over time. That's when you'll grow a lot faster than everybody else. And there's a cool quote in here from Oprah. She says, "What I know for sure is that reading opens you up. It exposes you and gives you access to anything your mind can hold." And it's so true. You've got to go acquire that from other people. So this is a list of our top books. If you want to get better at planning, habits, time management, skill development, forecasting, audits, feedback, everything we've talked about in this packet, these are some of the best books that we'd recommend you go acquire. You'll learn more from that, plus what we're talking about, to go and put more money in your bank account.
Guys, are you ready to take action? The Breakfast King, give me a call right after. We'll talk about the team side. In most cases, you guys, you're paying way less on our team split, even being on a team than you're paying to your current brokerage. So we'd love to chat with you more about that. If you give me a call right after, the Breakfast King, I'd love to walk you through that and tell you how we can help blow up your business. But guys, get with programs that will help you grow. That's all I can tell you. Even if it's not us, I would still tell you to go get with another program so that you can succeed way faster. We're in about 18, 19 states right now with team members. We've got well over 50 people in our team side. We've also got about 40 plus people just in our Explode coaching, another 40 to 50 people in our role play groups. Get with people that are going to elevate you to that next level. We're growing, we're expanding. We'd love to have you. We'd love to grow with you. We'd love to show you leadership on how we can help you become a leader and how fast. So our goal, once again, and always, I'm going to tell you this, it's not to get you into our team or into our coaching program. It's to help you be crazy successful so that we can get you to become a leader and have 100 people underneath you. Israel, yes, we're in Arizona. So we'd love to chat with you as well. Give me a call. I'll put my number in this chat as well.
Well, we're coming out to Arizona next month as well.
Yeah, we will be in Arizona next month, and we would love to see you in person, Israel, and chat with you. So guys, excited to help you guys grow. We hope that you're taking advantage of what we're training, what we're doing. We hope you're applying it, and we look forward to working with you very, very soon. Please reach out to us. Anything. Oh, absolutely. Tina just said, are we in California? Tina, we have a ton of people in California.
Yep.
In fact, a ton of people. So we're flying to LA every month now because of how many people we have there to do live trainings. We're also flying up to San Jose in the Bay Area every month because we have so many people in Cali. So absolutely. And as we build out big teams, we will come and in person and work with you guys and help you build big organizations underneath you. So guys, go work hard, go play hard, take care of yourself, learn, grow, and make sure you plan it all out. Thanks for being on today, guys. Have a great day.